Well, if you saw the show on Christmas Day, that would be Sunday, last Sunday. It is now Wednesday, and this is therefore Wednesday's spool. But if you remember, there was a lovely little Grizzly Flats Depot constructed by Karyn here, which ended up under the Christmas tree with the dog. And I thought we would just put together the entire construction of the Grizzly Flats Depot. And we'll let Karyn explain to you how you build a Grizzly Flats Depot.
Right.
It's a kit, it's a European kit, a little pricey.
A little bit,
Piko,
yeah. I passed out.
It's a couple of $100 if you can find one.
Yeah.
But they're really neat, it's a wonderful kit. You can put them out in your yard if you're into garden railroading and so on.
Yeah,
so check it out, we'll show you step by step how to build the Piko Grizzly Flats Depot. So the Piko Grizzly Flats Depot is typical of Piko kits. It comes with stick cowls instead of decals. It also comes with this strange little piece of white plastic that doesn't seem to be used for anything. It has decals in both German and English, so you can do either version if you want to. And it comes with wordless instructions. As a kid, I called these worthless instructions. I enjoyed reading a step-by-step, but in this case, there's no language barrier because there are no written words, just pictures. Look how thick the wall sections are. This is because it's designed for indoor or outdoor use. When those are glued together, they weld to form an incredibly strong structure. It's really a high quality kit, which is why we're having Karyn build it so I don't screw it all up.
First of all, I have to assemble the windows. These are double hung windows, and I start by clipping off the little plastic parts, the little sprues that hold everything together. Try to get those off as close as I can with a little X-Acto knife. And there we have all the little parts of the windows all cleaned up. And next comes the window glass. Oh my gosh, trying to decide, there were no instructions how to cut this, so a little algebra, a little math, and deciding how many little window panes we need to make. I'm using a glue to hold the window in place. And I find that if I put just a little tiny bit of glue, then hopefully it won't go onto the glass. Model building, I've always been frustrated because the older glues, I'd always put a big fingerprint right on the glass. So trimming it to fit as exact as possible. Okay, we're using a product called Plastruct Plastic Weld. It's a liquid and is brushed on. And the advantage is that it's weatherproof. It makes a tight weatherproof weld and it lasts forever. You don't want to use super glue. It just doesn't last. So I put the solid piece on the top and then slide the part under that will open, put the window in the hole where it goes, and glue. Make sure it's glued in there good and tight. And with a little luck, it'll stay together, and hopefully, yep, it opens. It opens up. Check it out. Now there's all this. Oh boy. All of these little pieces of plastic have to be put into the little framework that they fit into. It's kind of like a two-door style. I'm not sure. This one, we have to make sure that center seam is not visible. So using, it looks like a little saw, but we can use that as a tool to add wood grain to totally get rid of that little seam down the middle so it looks real, like a real piece of wood. A little bit of work involved there, scoring the plastic. Then I apply more of that plastic weld, it's a very thin glue, to dissolve the little burrs and make it look like wood grain. That hides that little center seam. It looks very realistic once glued onto the depot. Here's all the other parts. Oh my goodness. Well, I find that we have a pattern to follow to make it look just like the Grizzly Flats Depot. Another type of glue that we did use was just your typical model cement glue by Testers. Now this glue has improved a lot since I built a model the last time. It holds and glues just as tight and just as fast as crazy glue, which is good when I'm trying to put on trim such as the cresting on the top of the roof, and it has to sit straight right away. There's one side completed. And just repeat the process for the other side of the depot. So now I'm gluing on the brackets. Those are the little ornate wagon wheel ends that are on a lot of depots. Some people call it gingerbread or fancy work, but it sure makes a depot look nice. And these, with the new glue, they stay on pretty good. I'm impressed because the old glue, you'd have to hold it and wait for it to dry. This just takes hold right away, so I was able to just really make a lot of progress on this depot. The glue stays put and makes the work a lot easier. This was my favorite part, the bay window. I love the bay windows. All of those little windows open and close the same way, double hung window, all operable. Fitting the little bay window into the side piece of the depot. And I'm amazed on this model how well all of the parts just fit right together. It's foolproof, really. And there it is. Looks pretty good so far. Now getting all four sides together. Oh my. I have to make sure it's square because we don't need it lopsided. That could be a disaster. So we use a square to make sure it's all even on all four sides. A little more glue here and there. We've used a square in the corner to make sure it is sitting the way that it should. So far, so good. Now these, we wanted to put window shades and curtains in the building to make it look really authentic. These will be the little window pulls, the little shade pulls. And we're having green shades as most depots had with the little pull. And what depot wouldn't be complete without some lace curtains? So I'm using double-sided sticky tape as an experiment to see if they'll stay in the window. So far, so good. This tape is sticky on both sides, and that way I can stick the blind in on one side and the curtain to the blind, which makes it look very, very realistic, really. More instructions. Oh, this is the roof. It has a hip roof. Oh my. Well, let's see what happens if this goes as well as I hope. So far, so good. Again, with these models, everything fits perfectly. Just a little dollop of the cement weld here and there, and it's sticking fairly well. I'm impressed. This glue works so well. It's better than crazy glue. You don't want to use crazy glue on these. It falls apart. This actually makes a weld, and it's a permanent fix. A little bit more just to make sure that it's good and tight. And these, the beveled edge fits together so nice. Just a little of the cement weld that holds the plastic together, and it fits in there pretty good. Same with the front of the building. Nice beveled edges. Had a little problem getting that part to stay, but patience perseveres. Next came the trusses. I had to turn the whole depot over to put the trusses in. That reinforces the roof. Again, more of the plastic cement weld. That holds it very tight. And you can see how perfectly everything fits. Okay, we found out that we had to wait to install the last hip on the hip roof. First of all, we had to put in the soffit and make sure that's glued down tight over the bay window. Same thing on the other side. There was a little section of soffit that had to be installed both sides, as the gingerbread on the eave kind of hangs out a little bit. And at last, we can glue that final piece of the roof into place. You can see how the beveled edges just line up perfectly. And then we install the gabled ends. They stick out just a little bit from the eave, almost like a little porch. But we glue that in there, fits just perfectly. And on the hip side, we had to saw off the portion that's scored, a little triangle shape, which was pretty easy to do. They had it scored for us, but I scored it a little bit more so that it would break easily. And that was easy. Then it fit up in there with the gabled end and gingerbread. The glue does a really good job on the gabled ends and the gingerbread, and it holds tightly. It also works very well when putting on the fretwork. This is the gingerbread trim on either ends of the hip on the roof and at the gabled end. Just adds ornamentation. For the cresting at the top of the roof, we use the same tester cement. And this one, again, I'm trimming all those little sprues as tightly as I can to the shingles. So here you can see I'm putting on the shingle caps and how well that holds. But you don't want the little sprue to show, or it will look like a model. We want it to look just like a miniature depot. Again, the pieces fit together nicely. The glue is a wonder to work with. Just apply a little pressure and everything just bonds instantly. Nice result. And same with the cresting on top. It stands up straight and holds and sets just as fast as crazy glue. And finally, fascia. Just hold it for a little bit and it sets and welds right to the plastic. Perfect fit every time. All the way around the building. Finishing up with the edge. Just a little pressure holding it, and that plastic just welds right together with this glue. And it makes a nice tight fit. Finishing up the edge on the other side. More gingerbread, more trim. And you can see the little depot is nearing completion. There it is. Pretty easy. Now these pieces we were laughing about had holes in the roof. We're still not sure what that was about. But we had to trim out some more of the little sprue pieces using an X-Acto knife, exercising caution not to get cut. And the little pieces fit right in and fit in so well you'd have to look twice to see where they were. Next comes the fun part, the decals. Grizzly Flats Depot. On one side it says Grizzly Flats, population of 5. What a fun place. Now we had to put the express sign on and advertising. We put all of the advertising around. We used English advertising on this one. Now I'm having to put the chimney on. We've got to have a chimney. Most depots had a wood-burning stove. So here we have a chimney. Putting both halves together to make the stovepipe. And again, that glue just welds that plastic right together. Weather resistant, holds for time and eternity. And again, I trim that center piece just a bit to make sure that it's smooth and looks like a real stovepipe. And a quick spray of black spray paint. A nice satin finish to make it look like it's real stovepipe. And glue it to a spot on the roof. We had a problem with some of the glue when it dried, making shiny spots. So we used some dull coat to coat those places to get rid of the shiny spots. And you can see on the roof where we have been with the dull coat. And when it was finished, no more glue spots. Now, I wanted to put up Christmas decorations. This is a Christmas depot. Carefully, I drilled holes and made hooks from brass. We have some brass hooks to hang our garland on. And I'd made the garland ahead of time out of some decorative material and some LED lights that run on batteries. There it is, ready for Christmas, and a little wreath on the door to complete the picture. The ornaments are puffy paint. Decorated the tree with puffy paint, and a little daub of gray paint on the doorknob to make it look just as real as we can. And I made a platform for it out of popsicle sticks, and we threw in Dell's figures. We have Jeb from the other railroad, the banker, and the conductor waving from the platform. Man, they look real. I'm really happy with the result. Now it's complete with Christmas tree and the train under our Christmas tree. It looks really, really good. I was happy with the result. Man, this is my first model in like probably 20 years or so. I haven't done any model making in a long time. It went together really well, and we had a lot of fun building it. Glue and all.
It's glue and all, yeah. It's got that wonderful airplane glue aroma to it.
Sticky fingers.
By the time she finished it, I was completely glazed over.
And I was somewhere else.
I'm usually glazed over, so it wasn't a surprise.
I was a little more than glazed over.
No, it was not a surprise.
Flooring.
Yes, there was a lunar landing.
Whoa! I knew that was coming.
That was coming. Anyway, if you haven't been over to the channel, do pop on over to the channel. And while you're heading over there, subscribe, because you see you can do all of that in one fell swoop by simply clicking on the blue button. You ready for it? 3, 2, 1, zoink! Right here, blue button, it says subscribe. Takes you to the channel, makes you a subscriber, therefore makes you cool, and you can watch a whole bunch of movies while you're over there. Well, we're not sure how you found this movie on the internet. We hope you did not find it boring. And we hope you had a Merry Christmas. See you in a few days. Bye.